Welcome. We are back with our first
Hootie
episode of
hoo.
2025, episode number 82 of the Swooshes podcast. We got myself, Eric L, aka got the Knicks win tonight, up to 27-15 on the year. We got Armani, aka Armastradamus, and he's watching his Lakers. I don't know what they're doing tonight against the Miami
I
Heat,
ain't watching them.
but they're
I ain't
losing.
watching them. I'm not
Man,
watching them.
You're not a
yeah,
fan, bro. Come on,
I'm not
bro.
watching. No,
I thought he
no.
was a fan. He's a fan. He's a fan.
The Warrior game, the Warrior and Timberwolves games is on my TV right now.
Oh shit!
Man. And we got
We'll talk
Polo
about that
Keith.
another time, man.
What's going
We
on,
got
gentlemen?
Polo Keith as our guests.
Thank you for
Ernest and
having me.
Josh. Ernest and Josh, they're not here tonight. They won't be here tonight, but they'll be
What
joining
is
the
it?
chat.
Injury report. They're on an injury
Yeah,
report.
injury report, low management. So they'll be back next episode.
Oh yeah,
On today's episode, we will be discussing. We're at the halfway point of the NBA season for most teams. 41 games in, and we got teams that are starting to, or that are struggling right now. The Knicks, coming into the calendar year 2025, they were 24-10. Um, and also after that, losing 5 of their last 7 before winning tonight at Philadelphia, to up their mark to 27-15. We'll discuss on what's the issue and how can they fix those issues for the second half of the season, going to the playoffs. Um, the Detroit Pistons, we'll talk about them. They're 21-19, currently 8th in the Eastern Conference. More wins than they had all last year when they had won 14 games. And Cade Cunningham is making his bid to be an All-Star. We'll definitely talk about them and his ascension, his rise to being getting a possible All-Star vote. And also we will continue the Jimmy Butler saga as it takes another U-turn, as it is reported earlier today from via Shamania from ESPN, saying that he wants out. He wants out of Miami. And will Pat Riley budge, or will he take his word and actually make some moves? So we'll talk about that and some more. We also will talk about other news. They had a trade earlier today between the Phoenix Suns and the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets sending Nick Richards to the Phoenix Suns for Josh Okogie and a couple second round picks. Um, we'll talk about that and another NBA news. So lock in, subscribe, and like this channel, and we'll get started.
Let's talk this stuff.
So we got a couple of teams that are struggling right now. It's the dog days of the NBA season. We're in mid-January. It's cold in most of this country. We got Los Angeles. They're trying to recover from the wildfires out there. Also, we're gonna
Yo, pray
say
for LA, man. Pray
persons
for the
and
people of
praise
LA.
for the family
Word.
in Los Angeles who lost everything and is trying to recover everything. And also, just want to say rest in peace to all the people all the lives that are lost out there. Also, they're trying, County of Los Angeles, Palisades. They're trying to regroup and recover, and hopefully they recover much stronger, and hopefully hope for the best for them.
Word. It's a tragedy what's going on out there. So crazy because you would think that would happen in the summer, not the winter. But I hope they all get their houses, insurance money. I know they're having issues with that, so hopefully everything works out for these people in California. It's a lot of people
Word.
losing houses, losing their everything. Their everything. So much things you keep in your house, they're sentimental, and now that it could be burnt up or even worse, or flood because the extinguishers and stuff like that. So you're gonna lose stuff. So we're gonna pray up today. Everybody get their stuff back together.
Mm-hmm. Word.
So the dog days, like you said, like you said, it's the dog days in the NBA. We already know how January gets. We right before All-Star break, so it's just a lot of basketball being played. Also, then the holidays just passed. A lot of people got a lot going on, so even the players, and it's right before the trade deadline, so the
Mhm.
stress is high also for players not even knowing they don't know if they're gonna play the next day in the city they in. So everybody is all aware, but it's been some good hoops though. It's been some good hoops. Players been turning it around. I would say this beginning of the season, even though they said the ratings were down, but it was some real good basketball in the beginning of the season. I would say, like for the first half or a quarter or whatever you want to say.
I don't know if y'all seen it, but I had posted in the chat the other day, but the Cavaliers and Thunder game, the
Yes,
NBA
last
app,
last week
they posted that like just the viewership for that game, and I was like, damn,
it was
the NBA,
around 3 million. It was
yeah,
viewed 3 million
some,
views.
something like that. And I'm just like, damn, the NBA got to prove ratings to y'all, but I guess it's on the up and up, which is a good thing to see. So just good quality hoops.
Right. I think some of that is also misleading though. Like not the showing proven ratings, but you know how they were talking down on ratings. The thing is,
Hmm.
people don't watch one station anymore, one way. Like people
Hmm.
watching it from their phones, and I don't think
Hmm.
some people watch it illegally. So I don't think they calculate those things in when you think about the rate. Because I feel like I'm pretty sure everybody agree with this. NBA players are the most recognizable. They're the
Hmm.
most famous out of all the sports in America. Like I'm just talking about the players itself. Like they sell the most merch. You don't see people wearing football guys sneakers anymore. And that's since Deion Sanders and these guys. So
I
it
mean, but
can't.
they shoes is cleats.
I'm just saying they had sneakers though. Like
Well,
Deion
yeah,
Sanders
yeah,
had, and they have good
yes,
sneakers. So I'm
yes,
saying
yeah.
you don't see people, you don't see other sports branding to those stars to the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like to the other stars of the sports. Like you got your Messi's one. You got your one in each sport. I remember Serena Williams back in the day
Or
had one. So
Ronaldo,
yeah,
or
Ronaldo, stuff like that. But it's a
yeah,
bunch of basketball players, even the ones that are not that good, having a sneaker. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Not
That's
saying
a valid point.
so. It just shows that I think when people speak on it, they're not factoring how many different ways somebody's watching the game, and the fact that we could all watch our favorite teams now versus back in the day, we only had to watch what was on the primetime games.
True,
So
true.
now I could just watch Nets games. I don't gotta watch Golden State. I don't gotta watch these other teams. So
Hmm.
the ratings might be down on one team, but across all the teams we got 30 teams. People are watching their teams.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, you gotta factor in that the fan base is watching their own teams. Also, um, cable. Also, in terms of you're trying to how can I say it? Pay less for the services because with the streaming and you got to pay for each streaming fee to for example Netflix, Amazon, in which
right,
the NBA and the new TV deals is going into effect next year. You have Amazon Prime, Peacock, so you got to pay an additional amount to watch NBA games. Also, what's having League Pass, so that's another entity that you got to worry about. So
They got to get that straightened
I
up, man.
I say that.
yeah, because
Oh,
the whole blackout thing is they need to
It's annoying
they need to get rid of that
because
because
some some
you
people
look at
don't
here,
some people don't have cable.
right,
especially or you do have cable, but you're in they can't get access to it because the channel's out and they can't
Right,
get their games, they can't see they watch their teams. So you depend on League Pass or you're gonna watch on national TV.
right.
right.
So
And that's what made me want to talk about this even earlier. Remember, I was telling you, let's talk about the new way how they were streaming. It's just
Hmm.
like even though they're like I was watching wrestling, it's not to do with this podcast, but it was on Netflix, and that was just a different experience. You know what I'm saying? That's not
Hmm.
what I grew up on. It was not TNT or USA or saying or TNN from back in the day. And that's just like a new experience, which is a dope experience because we pay for these streaming services anyway. So why not watch our live sports on there or live events? And it just shows us like a new way of how we're gonna have sports nowadays, and we can't judge it by like the old matrix and the old standards and of sports anymore. Like even how like what's going on in the, like we saying, what's going on in January. Like, there's so much happening, and you can talk about so many different things between, Ant-Man having his issues with the media. He got ejected. Zion missing games. There's so much stuff that you just have so much ways to adjust media. Like, I don't even watch TV anymore. I don't have cable anymore. Like, I watch everything through a streaming service or my phone, or you know what I'm saying? I don't watch it like how I used to watch it. Like, had to come home, watch First Take, watch Sports Center or something like that. Now I think about this. If I miss a game, I could just go on my phone, go to the NBA.
Yeah, you
app,
feel
or
pretty caught up, you know.
you don't
And I
even.
feel like that's kind of like where I'm at right now. You know, for those watching at home, I was telling the rest of the gang, I've been like basketball fatigue, man. It's
Yeah,
crazy. It's crazy. But like I feel like I could get on like social media and something and just be caught up to speed of what's going on. You know, like I get updates of who's doing what, you know, who's having breakout performances. Like I remember being on a train and seeing CJ McCollum had a 50 bomb. I'm like, what? Like, where did this come from, man? Or Jamal Murray had a 4x5 or something like that. Like Wemby got 8 blocks. You know what I'm saying? Like not watching the game, but I feel like still in tune of like who's doing what and stuff like that. So that just shows like how far we've came to like as far as the game and everything.
Well, speaking of how far a team came from, as we segue, the Detroit Pistons. Last year, who finished with one of the worst records in the league at
Detroit
14 and
basketball.
68. They are currently right now sitting tied for seventh in the Eastern Conference, a half
they're
game behind
balling.
Indiana for six, 21 and 19. They're coming off winning their game, the last game Monday night against the Knicks at MSG, which I was there at the game. Um, Cade Cunningham had a slow start to the game, 6 points in the first half, but then cooked up in the second half with 26 points. Um, um, we knew this team was going to be improved with the new addition of Jimmy Bickerstaff. Also adding a couple of veterans, Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr. will go along with the young core nucleus of Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart, Jaden Ivey,
Jaden
who's
Ivey.
yeah, but now he's injured and won't be back till late March, early April, the earliest. But they do have a really nice nucleus team, a good solid nuclear team. And Cade Cunningham, he's in the ballot to be in the running for to be on our All-Star roster.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on Cade Cunningham's performance, and does he deserve to be in the All-Star, which I believe he should be in.
Yeah, I mean before we went live, I'm sorry, Polo Keeve. Yeah, Polo Keeve. Yeah. It's hard to kind of get used to that, bro.
I know.
But Polo
You
Keeve,
know,
we was
never know.
chopping it up about like you know, it's the East is kind of hard. It's tough because like if you look at it, right, you got LaMelo at number 1, right? You have
Trae Young.
you have Trey Young, who is currently 5th. You have Donovan Mitchell, number 2, Damian Lillard, number 3, Jalen Brunson, number 4. So it is very tough. It's very tough because
Right.
here's the thing. Trey Young is leading the league in assists,
Garland
right?
also.
Right. Garland's up there as well, too. And then you have Cade Cunningham, who's almost averaging a double-double, 24 and a half, and he's 3rd in assists. And just overall, like Eric mentioned, the Pistons just have a better record. He just came off a 36-point, 2 rebound, 4 assist performance against the Knicks the other night.
Right.
And he's been hooping. And like to even him being an all-star, like I know Josh had spoke on this, like when we was giving our award predictions and stuff like that. Somebody had mentioned Cade's name, and Josh is like, well, why are we benefiting? Why are we allowing these guys who are like lottery picks, first round picks, second round? I mean, sorry, number 1 picks, number 2 picks. Why are they out here winning most improved? But like he's balling, he's hooping. But it just shows a difference from how they played last year to this year. They have a better record, way better record than last year at this point of time.
Last year they were
And
3-36.
right.
Right.
So it's like, come on. And it's like at this point, he's playing like all-star level basketball, and there's no denying it. So
the big thing is he's played well even last year. And if you want to keep it real, their record was even misleading last year. They had a lot of close games.
A lot of close games that just didn't fall their way.
It didn't fall their way. They didn't play horrible last year.
Yeah.
They just couldn't close games. So I think the whole team has bought in and has some confidence and realized we know we're a veteran now. We're more veterans now. So we know how to close out games now. You know what I'm saying? And I think some of that has transpired because it reminds me of, like, I remember when the Nets, I don't put on my team, but the year before we made the playoffs with D'Lo, we had a similar season like that where we lost games, but they were all close, couldn't close them out. We were up. And last year, they was similar with them. And then they have us young star, like you said, a first round pick and stuff, a lottery pick. And they were able to, grow under that. And, these guys, most people in NBA are not losers. And what I mean by not losers, like, they've been winning their whole lives. They've been on winning teams usually. So if they truly are winning, they're gonna try to figure it out. If you put them together, and they're building a culture, and it's getting back to the old Detroit days with the culture, the Detroit basketball, and it just shows that they learned from their mistakes last year, and they're building on that, and they let the coach rock, and they're not trying to put a Band-Aid on it. They're like, you know what, let's let it rock. And we've seen this happen many a times. Like, look at Golden State, look at OKC right now. Like, these are teams that are built. Even the Nuggets, Denver Nuggets. Most of the players there were drafted. They had to go through their growing pains. They weren't. You don't always start out good. Everybody doesn't have maybe the Luka. Even though Luka missed the playoffs his first year, but you know what I mean. Like, players don't have that instant go sometimes, and maybe because you don't have the talent, or maybe the talent has to mature. And they figured a way out, and I think he's probably going to make the All-Star team. They're not going to. Detroit ain't been in the playoffs since I can't remember.
Blake
Griffin.
Blake Griffin.
Yeah,
and that was the last All-Star from the Pistons. Blake Griffin.
So they're gonna put him on there. Now, some of these other guys is where it's going to get mixy. Like, are we going to have?
So out of the players that I mentioned, right? So LaMelo is a lock.
He's leading the way. He's got the most votes.
He's leading the way, right? Then we have Donovan Mitchell at number 2. We have Jalen Brunson at. Let me look at this list again.
I got a question. Donovan Mitchell is second in votes, or he's just second?
Second in votes. So the top 3 is LaMelo, Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard, and Brunson at number 4, and Trae Young at number 5. So if Cade makes it, who are you taking off this list?
So
because
that's
go ahead.
Perspective. We know LaMelo's going to be the starter.
Yep.
They're going to vote him in, and I don't think anybody's going to go against him. Like you need the fan vote and the media vote for the starters now.
Yeah.
So Melo is a fan favorite.
So it's coaches 25, media 25, and fan vote 50%.
Right. So the media and the fans are going to get LaMelo as a starter, and his son and his brother got a hot song right now. So you already know that's gonna. Yeah, Wody. Yeah.
Yo, just sidebar real quick. LeVar is 3 for 3, son. LeVar is 3.
One of the greatest fathers, celebrity fathers we have.
Bro.
He top 5. I
bro.
Hard, but top 5, he's definitely.
Okay.
I'm surprised.
You got Michael Jackson.
I'm surprised he didn't. I'm surprised he didn't trademark Never Lost.
Nah. Joe Jackson got.
Joe Jackson.
He got Michael and Janet, and then all the other brothers were successful.
And all the other ones, yep.
Then you got Serena Williams, dad. Venus and Serena were both champions.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Then you got. All right, that is we. Oh, you got Beyonce, dad. Solange was successful.
Solange and Beyonce.
So successful. Okay. Then you got Del Curry. The Currys is successful. his Steph, Del, and his daughter like a top volleyball player. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Top volleyball player, son. I stopped playing with him. And the final father. This one is kind of hard. Right?
I was gonna say, should I say it? Vince McMahon.
Facts.
Vince McMahon.
He He made billionaires. He made
It's
billionaires.
Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon might be number one. Shit. He got his wife in the game. Everybody in the we was waiting for the grandkids.
Right, but all seriousness, to your point. So LaMelo, off the strength of that, is a lock. Okay.
Yeah, LaMelo's a lock. The second
Donovan,
one is going. The second Donovan Mitchell's not a lock. It's going to be between Donovan and Damian Lillard. Whoever's good. Damian Lillard, I would assume has more fans than Mitchell.
Yes.
But Mitchell has been cooking lately, so that's going to become the starter is who's most popular. So we'll see how that favored through. Those are going to be a toss up. Everybody else now is where you really pick.
which is crazy because the Cavs is what 34-5 this year.
Yeah.
Right. So and they're on pace to win 70 games. So
right,
kind of insane.
Right. But the start is all about popularity.
In the meanwhile, the leading vote getter has an 8-28 record.
Hey, he gonna swerve on that corner, bro. He gonna swerve on that corner, bro.
Man,
but
whoa.
listen.
It's LaMelo, man.
LaMelo deserved to start, man.
LaMelo for the kids, man. For the
LaMelo
kids.
bring that energy. He bring that energy.
That young energy, man.
If he could bring that competitive drive into an All-Star game, that would be great too. But,
I don't really see that happening, but I mean, hopefully with the
you
format, so maybe.
I don't like the format, but you never know. Maybe it might be the shakeup we need. Sometimes you get surprised. But so
Brunson.
So Brunson is definitely on there. The Knicks got the second best record in the East, and they have the largest fan base. Even though it's not, he might not make it as a starter. Their coaches love him. He's making it on there.
Okay.
So now after those three, because I think if Dame don't get voted on, he might be the one to miss it.
Dame,
if he don't get voted on, so Dame getting voted on is gonna set the table for how everybody else makes it on. Because if you have Dame and LaMelo Ball starting, now it makes it bad. Now they're gonna put Garland on there, and they're gonna put it's gonna even it out. But if Dame doesn't make it on there, and it's gonna shift it around. Now we don't know. It's gonna make it where you don't know how the coach is gonna pick. Because I think I feel like they're gonna put 3 Cavaliers on there. They deserve it. You deserve 2 Knicks. And then we forgot about this, even though I guess they play wing positions. But you got you got Brown and Tatum.
Yep.
They're gonna be on there.
Yeah, and then you still got Giannis. Put Giannis in the fold. Yeah.
No, but Giannis on there.
So
you
mentioned 3 Cavaliers. So who is the third?
Oh, Moody.
Okay.
Mobley. Not Mobley. Yeah, Mobley. Mobley's gonna be on there. I let you know my boy Jared Allen. Xnet. I got love for him, but he's not making it this year. He's balling, but he's not the third best player right now.
I mean, and he doesn't have like a big case against Cat, Tatum, Giannis, Brown.
Right.
Like it's not a big argument right over there. So,
right.
But yeah, no. Honestly, shout out to the Pistons, man. I know they was the laughing stock of the NBA. They still somewhat, because
I don't think they're the laughing stock no more. I think
not no more, but that's still what people. Oh yeah, absolutely. They was like sometimes like don't be like that team, but they end up becoming like like that team pretty much.
I will say because of the new salary cap format, it's crazy as sound. It has created balance in the NBA. We've had new teams make the playoffs that haven't made it in a while.
Look at the Rockets,
Kings, Rockets, the Timberwolves recently. Like all of these teams were teams that we ain't seen playoffs in multiple years, and now they've been in the mix. True. So and then some of the old guard is struggling, like the Suns and stuff like that. So.
Well, trade deadline's coming up in February 6th, which is in a couple of weeks. It's going to be real interesting to see how teams maneuver and make moves with the second apron, especially those teams that are like right near the second apron, like the Knicks. So we're going to segue to them because they've been struggling. Once the calendar turned to 2025, losing 5 out of the last 7 games, losing home games to the Magic, Pistons, um,
Thunder.
but also Thunder
Thunder.
twice, Thunder by 20 plus points. Um, so here's my thing. So they've been they've been beating teams on the they've been beating teams under 500 as usual. That's you should be doing. They should be doing. But against teams that are at over 500, they're at 500. So they're they're inconsistent. The offense is really good. They're top 3, top 5 in offense. The defense, they still need to work. They're in the middle of the pack. They're they're treading it towards the bottom half in 3-point defense, which is not good at all. Um, and also I just think the OG Anunoby, he's been on and off ever since that 40-point game in Denver. So he was still trying to find his groove on offense. Mikal Bridges, he's been up and down. Started the season cold. November, December had a very
that
good
hot Christmas game.
December.
Mm-hmm.
Dropped 41 on Christmas. Had a couple 25, 20 plus over 25 plus point games.
Judas will never be consistent.
Well,
would you say
Judas will never be consistent? Okay.
Judas.
Yeah.
And also
Judas.
there's been talk about the usual as usual under Tom Thibodeau, the minutes.
The minutes.
Knicks.
That's why y'all going up and down, keeping it a buck. They just tired.
The Knicks lead the Knicks have 4 of their 5 starters league in minutes, total minutes played. And and also why? Because of the lack of bench depth or lack of scoring depth from the bench. They're last in the league in points and bench points at 20. Well, also we had the fact that he had Precious, Achua, and Miles McBride coming off injuries. Also you still have Mitchell Robinson hanging out there, saying that he might be coming back in February. So hopefully he gets back healthy after All-Star break and see how that affects the bench and how that affects maybe even put him in the starting lineup to help out the lack of defense with your 2 main guys of Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this Knicks team currently standing at 27-15 and third in the East?
They just tired, bro. And
they just tired, man.
Yeah. That's what it really is. And it's the bench. It's the overplaying of the stars. And it's like, yeah, you're asking a lot from a team who doesn't really have much depth. And like I do like the grit. One thing I will say, Josh Hart's been balling, like when he had a triple-double tonight.
Triple-double tonight, his 11th of the season.
Triple-double tonight, and like just his hustle, he's gonna come to play every single game. And you like with him, Tibbs had found like his Iron Man in a sense, which is fine. But you need somebody to come off the bench and like score and defend and give you like those key buckets. Cameron Payne is not the answer. Like Miles McBride, I know y'all trust in him, but like he can only do so much. And hopefully, if Mitch Rob come back, like see how he looks, get things to the fold. I still don't think that's going to solve everything completely. It will help out Cat a lot. It definitely will, because I know Polo has explained this in the past. Man, just love fouling, man. Love fouling. And it comes down to the point where like he fouls so much it takes him off the floor, and like he's ineffective. So now it's like back to the Brunson show, But it's just.
But to be fair though, he's been playing a lot of defense. In which remember we at the beginning of the season, I was like he don't play. And remember I kept saying, I said, no, Cat play defense. He's not an elite defender, but he tried. He go out there and try.
Yeah, and it just like piles up in fouls and stuff like that. So you really can't be effective. You can't really be that 1A option on the team if you're not in the game, So definitely like and y'all don't have much assets. Like I heard that y'all was trying to make Jericho Sims available. I'm like, come on. Like,
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it a buck though. I think that is a cop out. They got Kim Payne could play. He was balling for
in
the
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Y'all just don't give people the thing about Tibbs. Y'all have enough talent on the bench. You know why? Because y'all said that last year, and when them injuries came about, look at all those guys started playing well.
True.
And so they became starters and main players.
Yeah.
You gotta give. It's a 82 game season. How are you gonna know they're good if you don't play them? Yeah, yo, the last game, nobody on the bench played more than 11 minutes.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So I'm
But
not gonna say the
also,
bench. I'm not gonna say the bench is trash. I don't even know what they are.
but also, you gotta also take into account that the amount of minutes that they're gonna play, what's their production gonna be? Because if under Tibbs, it's like if you're not giving me any production off the bench, then why am I putting you in the game? So from his perspective, it's more like, okay, I'm gonna give you 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. If you can produce, then okay, I'm gonna give you more run. But if you can't, if you're not gonna give me that production, then what am I gonna do?
That's not coaching though, because you got to think about this. You get players that play bad if you give them a short leash. When you let people just play, they play. The reason they know everybody on the Knicks bench know they got a short leash. As soon as I mess up 2 times, they throwing Cat back in. As soon as I mess up 2 times, they throwing it. You can't, and you playing with that type of chip. You got to think about it, and they playing. Most of these players playing for contracts at some point in their career. They're paying for their livelihood. You can't give them that double the added pressure versus just let them play. Let them play. The reason why last year worked because of injuries, and then you couldn't say that the Knicks wasn't deep because the whole team was balling.
right.
This year,
they had no choice.
Yeah, this year, your starting 5 is not hurt, and you're saying we don't have a good bench, but we don't even know that they're not playing enough minutes to get reps to get good. Sometimes you gotta struggle. I ain't gonna lie. You know how they say, "Oh, damn, they gave that game away because they might have played the bench too long."
Right.
All the great coaches do that. You see Greg Pop, he'll have some bums in there for a minute longer than they're supposed to. Phil Jackson does that. Steve Kerr, as much shit we give Steve Kerr, pardon my friend, Steve Kerr will let those bums play long until they get their reps. So by the time the playoffs come, you be like, yo, who's Penner? Like, think about this. GP2 been in the league before he was on Golden State. He was on other teams.
He's with the Lakers.
Yeah.
He's with the Lakers.
They were the ones that said, hey, we could use this guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they let him rock. They let him play. You gotta let them play in the regular season. In the playoffs, I get it. That's when if they playing 11 minutes in the playoffs, that makes sense. But right now, to save y'all season, you might have to give up some games, but you're gonna have to play the second unit a lot more just to get to the end. Because I think the Knicks don't. I think they could team. I hate the Knicks, by the way, but I think they could go to the championship. But it doesn't matter it don't matter what position y'all in. It don't need to be the number 1 seed. Y'all can be the 7th seed. Y'all can go to because the players you have on your team, you have the capability to get to the finals with this team, as long as they're healthy. But you got to get them there. So now, after All-Star break, I would just start playing and it'll throw teams off because they're like, oh, they're playing different strategies right now. You don't need to win. I'm not saying throw games, but you don't need to win every game with your starting lineup. Because you can't. You can't. Let the bench play. Campaign has played in the playoffs. He's playing in the finals. You have a bunch of players on that team that have capabilities. You drafted them. You picked them. Let them earn their checks. Give them a shot. 11 minutes is not. It's not. It isn't. For y'all to have the 4 players in the entire NBA with the most minutes on one team is crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, especially trying to make a run at the championship too. Like, and we're in the mid part of the season.
Right. You got a lot of season to go. So
well, we'll see how the Knicks do come trade deadline and see if they add much needed depth or if they're gonna stay the course and ride this wave throughout the regular season to the playoffs. We'll
Hmm.
see. We're very interested to see where they finish and how they set themselves up for the playoffs. Because I think if they're healthy, they can get out of the East. They can go toe to toe with the Celtics and Cavaliers. Just a little bit more bench depth and
That makes
um
sense.
hopefully Mitchell Robinson comes back, and then hopefully one of but much better play from Campaign, Shamit, um Deuce. I can you
Shaman,
can
Shaman also can play. I've seen him
Mhm.
cook off the bench for my team and Golden State and all the teams he was on. They got players who
that's
can
the
play,
thing.
man. They gotta play them.
They can play, but they gotta produce. That's the name of the game. Speaking of producing, we producing more saga by Jimmy. We got Miami producing more saga because of one Jimmy Butler. It was reported earlier today by Shams Charania of ESPN saying that he wants out of Miami. He wants a trade done before the trade deadline. And this saga has been continuing since last May when Pat Riley, the president of the Miami Heat, had a press conference and literally just lashed out on the team. And did not give Jimmy Butler an extension. And this is where we are at right now in January 2025. So, what are your thoughts? I know we talked about it. We talked about this a little bit in the last episode, but Polo Key, I'm gonna start with you. What are your thoughts on this whole saga with Jimmy Butler? You think he's a Miami Heat has a trade deadline, or you think he's out?
The way this is going, I see him being on the Heat past the deadline. I could be wrong, but I feel like Pat Riley's handling this with a lot more pride than anything. Like nobody, like I get rid of you, you don't force your way out, kind of Miami thing. And I know I was watching what Gilbert and them was saying, and they said he forced Shaq out, he forced these guys out. He never forces you out. He just says he lets you sign off. Like you finish your contract and you go. Dwayne Wade signed with the Bulls. He didn't get traded. LeBron signed with Cleveland. He didn't get
That
traded. He did
that's
trade
that's
Shaq. He
that's
did
because
trade Shaq.
they lowball D Wade.
No. I get that. And they probably gonna lowball Jimmy Butler. But my
Yeah.
point is, what I'm saying is, you've never seen a player really demand a trade from Pat Riley before, and then try to like
True. Yeah,
hold
he's never
and
been
and
never been in a
and
situation before.
hold him hostage. And I think he
Right.
would probably was going to trade him. Like he was shopping him. They were clearly shopping him, but he did not get the opportunity to get the shot. Once Jimmy Butler started being vocal, and they both started being vocal, then the pride got involved in this. So I see him. I don't know if a trade can happen. I know a lot of teams want him, but a lot of teams don't want him at the same time because they feel like, well, we probably can get him for cheaper next year. And Pat Riley he's lowering the value of the superstar, which is kind of crazy because Jimmy Butler is a really good player and his production doesn't show in the regular season. So anybody who's paying it any mind by regular season standards, you don't watch basketball because Jimmy Butler always shows up in the playoffs. He don't care about the All-Stars anymore at this point. He just tries to coast to the playoffs and then he turns up. So I believe that he'll probably be on the Heat, but you never know because a lot of teams are desperate right now, and in the closing hours they could make a wild trade. Zion's up in the air right now, and you never know. You just never know. What do you guys believe?
Um, this is a tough spot for Miami. Because they're not used to this. They're not used to dealing with this type of animosity during the season. Um, and now with his suspension of Jimmy Butler, they're trying to find a trade partner. That's As we heard earlier today, the Bucks are trying to shop for Jimmy Butler. The Suns are still trying to shop for Jimmy Butler, even though they traded away a couple of their second round picks to the
They ain't getting
Hornets
them.
for
I'll be
Nick
shocked if they
Richards.
get them.
Houston, they might be in the running. So you never know because remember a couple years ago, the Brooklyn Nets in the middle of the night traded away Kevin Durant, and we and that was that caught a surprise.
True. There's a big
You
difference
know,
though between Kevin Durant and Jimmy Butler though. And
so
the man, everybody wants Kevin Durant no matter what.
yeah,
They don't feel the
who
same about Jimmy Butler.
who wants Jimmy Butler at his contract at his number?
But
Because
look, Kevin Durant
he
number
has a
was
play
big too.
option.
It's just but
He
Kevin
has a
Durant
play
number was
option of
big too.
52 million.
Right.
So,
But even if Kevin Durant had the same contract, he has more of the lure of just being Kevin Durant. I think Jimmy Butler has always kind of been like that underdog kind of guy.
mm-hmm.
Because I agree with you.
He was a second round pick. He was a second round pick when he got into the league. So
true.
And he had to work
Very
his way into the rotation. Yep.
But I look at it like it's who he is because I feel like he's giving you more than Kevin Durant's giving you in these past couple of years. And team's still gonna lowball him because of who he is, and maybe the attitude he has and stuff like that. But I like it, and honestly, if he want to be free, I say free him. But I don't know how they're gonna free him. I don't know.
Check. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Copy. My fault, y'all. My sound went out. I think my other headphones died.
Okay.
But honestly, Pat Riley need to stop moving like he in the mafia, man. Like I know he got his hair slicked back and all that, but like stop moving like that, bro.
Pat the Rat.
Pat
the Rat.
And I just think, and it's crazy because like I posted a poll the other day of like where would the different destinations for Jimmy Butler would be, and I know there's been talks of like him going to the Grizzlies and stuff like that. I'm really not too sure about that fit, even though some people are very high on that fit.
That would be fire.
But like he don't want to go there, and then like Phoenix, the whole Bradley Beal thing and the no trade clause, then benching Bradley Beal and getting flustered and everything, But it's like I just don't like what Phoenix is doing right now. Like that whole thing is not making any sense. And then the Warriors are not trying to trade their young core for Jimmy Butler, which I totally understand because Jimmy Butler is 35, right? And it's like what team wants to risk their assets for that? And especially if for those three teams I just mentioned, I don't think their title window is that. Especially for the Warriors and the Suns, I don't think their title window is clear. Like, sure, talent is one thing.
It's closing. It's closing for both of them.
I think if you can get the Golden State, it's higher because Golden State have a lot of more workable pieces.
I also mentioned the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah,
but
that was another team I heard. Yeah,
Milwaukee Bucks probably can make. They're probably a team that can make the trade. I don't think Pat Riley would trade them in the Eastern Conference. Honestly,
yeah,
I don't think he would trade them in this conference. I think the Grizzlies would be great for him because the Grizzlies got a lot of like draft picks and stuff like that they could just throw over there, and then he's gonna be like a super Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks who could drop 50.
Yeah, and you at least know that he could show up. He could show up in the playoffs.
And he's leadership. He's leadership, which the team values and needs.
Yeah, but it's like also, what team will want to deal with that? It's like you don't know what Jimmy you're going to get, and I know before my headphones had went out, like you mentioned, like you could see him being past the deadline. And I'm just like, well, what's the holdup? Because it's like if I have somebody on my team that's like in this case, I hate to say this word, but like a cancer to my team, and who's bringing along all his baggage, all these different rumors and stuff like that. Why would I still want somebody like that around my organization when we got to finish out the rest of the season? So I suspended him.
To be fair, though, he has not been a cancer because he hasn't talked bad on the team. Like I talked about his teammates. He hasn't talked about a teammate. He has came out and been a professional. He's been playing. And the same thing is he did the same thing in Minnesota, but he didn't throw it in Minnesota. He tried to win. And if you put him in the if he ends up on a team after the trade deadline, there's two reasons why he's not going to throw it in. One, he wants to get paid, so he's going to play.
Yeah. Right.
Two, he wants to go to even if he has to get signed with another team, he wants to win too. So he's going to want a team to give him adequate money, even if he takes less. But he wants the team to give him adequate money and him to be in a winning situation. So there's no reason for him to throw it in. And Pat Riley actually knows this about him. So I think he's playing on this because I think what if they won the championship? Like, let's say, the wildest thing happened. The Miami Heat won the championship, right? Somehow. Right. I see Jimmy Butler still leaving. And they still, and Pat Riley got what he wanted.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, Pat Riley is really in the driver's seat, but it's based on pride versus anything, because you got to think about it. Jimmy Butler can opt in and take the $50 million next year, or opt out and go to another team and get a deal, broker a deal. But all the teams that he wanted to go to broker a deal doesn't have the money.
Right.
So that's why he wants to trade. So I don't see a reason for Pat Riley to have to trade him. He can't just throw it in. And if he does, maybe a team will take the bluff, like, you know what, we should. But I think if I was him, I would go to Memphis.
I mean, and
he could be there for a while, and he don't gotta be the man.
Right.
He don't gotta go over there and be the man. He could just plug and play. He could just do what he do, especially in the playoffs. And they have almost everything you need. They got a backup point guard. They got a starting point guard. They got a power forward. They got a center. They just a little weak in the wing position now. That's what he is. He's a wing.
Yeah.
He's a wing.
Yeah.
And you could get a little 15 a game and just play some defense. And then when the playoffs come, turn that to 25 to 30.
And I just think that overall, like the Miami Heat, like they should really look into like trading him, because the pieces and acquisitions you could get back. You don't want him to just walk for anything if he does decide to leave. And especially if you're in a position where, like, all right, you lose Butler, like, what are you? You're in a rebuilding stage. You're in a rebuilding stage, and at this point, like, nobody's coming to save you, because remember, like, all right, LeBron pulls up.
I don't think the Heat are rebuilding stage. They holding a top record.
They're in the playing. They're in that playing.
Without him playing, and Tyler Herro's playing amazing. So I don't think they're really rebuilding. They're probably in a transition. They're in a transition, but not really rebuild.
Yeah, they've been in the playing for the last 2-3 years.
And they was in the finals 2 of them 3 years. So,
I mean, but you don't want to be mid every year, and this is my point, because like when Jimmy Butler went to the Heat, we was like, yo, why you went to the Heat? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was something that he took ownership on. That was something that he wanted to do, and he got them to be relevant. You know, I just think of that 2020 bubble. That team was not supposed to be there in the finals, but he was able to will it in. You know, and that's when the whole playoff Jimmy thing became a thing. And then it wasn't a fluke, because he did it back in 2023. He had them great playoff performances. Didn't he have like 50 or something like that against the Bucks and stuff like that? So it was like, all right, we got to capitalize on this. We got something here. You know, Bam is legit. And then the whole Damian Lillard trade thing happens. That falls through. And Pat Riley failed to have like a backup plan. There was like no backup plan after that situation. That failed. And like you put no Band-Aid over it. So like I can see where some of the frustration is coming from Jimmy, but it's like a two-way street in this case.
Definitely, I agree with that.
So I'm saying, like, there's who's going to be the next person, and who's going to be the next person to pull up and say, you know what, I'm going to Miami. It's funny that I say that, because I was talking to my homie Sean, who's a Heat fan, and he was like, Luka 2026, you heard it here first. And I'm like, why? He was like, well, Miami has a big,
he liked to drink,
what is it, Slovenia population in Miami. I'm like, bro, how you know this, man? So
I don't see him going there because I don't see him going there because he be trying to smoke cigs and drink hookah,
Yep.
smoke hookah and drink. And Pat Riley ain't going for none of that. He ain't going for none of
Right.
that. But
Right.
that,
You gotta make
but
sure
that's
your
not.
body fat is intact, man.
But that's not a true statement. How are you gonna think about this? If you tell somebody I can sign a max contract to play in Miami and live there for 3 to 5 years or God knows how long, they're going to go to Miami, bro. It's not. It's this. People don't not go to Miami. When the last time somebody not went to Miami?
Right. True. I mean, but
just like people go to
do you
LA,
think
just like people go to LA, just like people go to the New York Knicks and go to the Brooklyn Nets. People, these are teams. The location is enough, and plus they got a winning culture.
that's
Like,
a fair point?
People are gonna go. Like that's not a real thing. When people like I even heard Gilbert and them saying like, "Oh, that's gonna deter superstars there." No, it's not. No, it's
That was
not.
my next question. Like, would you think just based off like just the treatment?
No, because they're not treating them horrible. They're not doing them. They're not doing them like how the Knicks did Melo. They're not doing that.
That was Phil Jackson.
Either way, he was a part of the Knicks, so he was behind the scenes with that. They didn't do him like that. They ain't do him. They ain't do him how Houston did Melo either. Houston did Melo dirty. They did him worse. I already knew that was gonna happen. But they, as I'm saying, you gotta think about it. Like they're not gonna do that. No, are they having a disagreement? Yes, but this is normal NBA stuff. The thing is, media is 24 hours now. This is regular stuff. Usually it's behind the scenes. Now we get to see it in front of the scenes. We're only seeing it in front of the scenes because Jimmy Butler's trying to will his way out. But they're not doing it horrible. They're not just doing what he wants. I don't see this a horrible treatment. They haven't said he's a bad player. Yeah, they suspended him. That was a little much, but that's because that was them. Because they're both being sensitive. They're both trying to joust on some power. And as a guy who's seen this with his own team, when you got the organization going against the players and the players trying to control the team, sometimes as an organization, you got to stand firm and say, no, this is not going to go your way. You signed a contract to play here. And if we trade you, we will trade you. We will try to trade you if we can. But they don't owe him to trade him. And at the same time, he don't owe them to stay. Like, if he wants to go, he wants to go. He did everything I feel like he did everything he signed up to do there.
I think he exceeded expectations, bro.
Yeah, I think Miami failed him a little bit because they didn't get him adequate.
They definitely did.
They didn't get him adequate number 2 star. Not saying
they should have cashed in. They should have cashed in when they had a chance to really. They should have cashed in after the 2023 season.
Yeah,
Dame, KD, they should have. They had their chance, but nope.
Yeah. Especially when Dave was made a priority, like, yo, I want to go to Miami.
But it wasn't like Miami didn't try to get him. That had nothing to do with Miami. I would say this: people keep bringing those moments up. Miami tried to get the guys. The teams that had the guys,
Portland was just being stubborn.
The teams who had the guys didn't want to send their guys there, and they may not have gave them the best deal. You can't necessarily say, "Oh, Miami failed them in that aspect." I just think they failed them in a sense of, and maybe they didn't. Maybe they are onto something, but they just been a little more faithful to Tyler Hero than they maybe should have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it makes sense because they did that with Dwayne Wade, and then they ended up winning the championship with him. They could have cashed in on him early, but they did not. When they got Shaq and stuff, so like that. So Miami has a good track record for the most part. Yeah, are they going through a little fluff right now? Maybe, but they're still handling it with class. They're not talking. The only thing I feel like they're talking down on the product is they're just all the little stuff that's coming out, talking about like when he was taking flights when his father passed away or was sick and stuff like that.
They said that he's not traveling with the team. As a matter of fact, I'm glad that you brought that up because I seen a report saying that the Heat accounting error led to Jimmy Butler paycheck. So pretty much he was paid short like during the offseason. And they saying like these are like a domino effect of things that's leading to where we're at right now. So yeah, y'all didn't hear about that?
I did hear about that.
Yeah, they said Heat's accounting error left Jimmy Butler without a paycheck for about 10 days.
Well, I was watching, I don't know if y'all watch like Dan Lebertard or anything like that.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff was happening when he wasn't taking a lot of that hasn't happened this season. and a lot of it happened when his father passed away. So a lot of that when he was taking private flights and stuff like that was then. And he may be on some private flights now, but look, they just suspended him for 7 games over something kind of small. He didn't really like.
They said they pretty much just said his conduct, but I guess it was that to a point where like the temperature was rising, and it's like, yo, this is kind of like getting out of hand. So it's like we gotta punish you some way, like, you know.
They did say he walked up to Pat Riley and said he wants to be traded, though. I was like, oh shoot, face to face. And they said he hasn't talked to him. They said he hasn't. They said he hasn't talked to him before that, like face to face, since last year, sometime like around the playoffs. So when they had you're not playing. Remember when he was talking trash like about playing?
Yeah. When he was hurt. Yeah.
And even then, that was a little funny. Like that, Pat Riley kind of nipped that. Like, well, he's talking competitive talk. Like, yeah, if I was playing, we would win.
Right. I see both sides of it. I mean, if you like, obviously you want to light a fire under your guys and trash them because obviously you're not out there. And especially that was a squad that you beat the previous year.
Right.
Like you walked them down. You walked them down. You know what I'm saying? But also then again, it's like, yo, bro, like we ain't got you. Like, you know, we need our guys to focus. Like, you know, these eventually became the champs.
Jimmy Butler is the ultimate dog, man. If you get him, if he gets on the right team, he can make it work. If I was him, though, I ain't gonna lie. I know he wants the money. I would just I would rock out this season, ball out how he ball, and I would just sign somewhere else. Because I ain't gonna lie. Maybe they'll work something out. Maybe go back to Philly. Him and PG with Maxey, with Embiid, that could save Embiid knees. He could do some heavy lift. Paul George. They just go small ball. Paul George be the power forward. You put Jimmy at the small, Maxey run the point. And even though I wouldn't want to see him in Philly, but you know.
Nah, man. PG my dog, man, but PG can't even stay healthy on his own, man.
But that's my point. Jimmy Butler, you know, they all can lift each other. Jimmy Butler know how to stay healthy enough. Jimmy Butler, PG just be having freak injuries, like freak accidents all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not freak accidents. It's not like he's doing like he's like playing reckless or anything. People falling into his legs and stuff like that. You know, some people that happened on my team.
Having a KD?
I was there.
Having a KD?
I was at that game. I was devastated. No.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just wild, man. You know, so I hope this saga gets wrapped up, you know, because it's the big talk right now. So
yeah, man, they definitely holding the airwaves hostage right now. You know what I'm saying? Or at least on the basketball front. In the other world, you know, Skip Bayless and them holding it hostage at FS1. They wilding over there. They wilding. I wish I worked there.
Oh boy. Anyway, you might have to end this stream early.
Hey, Joy called me.
Oh man.
Hey, you know, I was gonna bring some entertainment, guys. You know what I mean? But nah, real talk. That I hope they fix that. Let's get back into this All-Star. Who we got on the All-Star team, guys? Who we think is on there? I think the West.
Well, I know. Eric did this pick the other day. Or like a couple weeks ago. Mine's is pretty simple, bro. Like I'm over here looking at the list, bro. I have Jokic. I got KD. I got Braun.
Yeah.
From the guards, I got Shea and I got
Luka.
I got Steph.
Steph, Luka, they are. All right, all of them gonna be on there.
For the East, LaMelo was not on my bingo card. To be honest with you, he wasn't.
All of them.
If anything, the
East is the hardest. The East is the hardest pick. The West is.
I would say
shaped out pretty. What you think it would be? Ja's gonna be on there again.
Yeah. I say for the guards for the East going into it,
James Harden probably might be on there though.
Looking at Dame and Brunson, and then for the front court, Giannis, Tatum, and Cat. Like, yeah.
I think if Dame doesn't make it as a starter, he doesn't make it on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna reward. They're gonna reward the young bloods.
Oh, so like Cade. I think he'll
Cade.
be
As only if he makes it a starter, it will balance it out where they might. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I don't see him making it if he doesn't make it as a starter. I could be wrong though, but like how you don't give a Detroit Pistons the love, and then I feel like you have to put Trae Young on there. He's leading the league in assists.
Yeah. I feel like
20 and 12.
how it usually happens. Usually like that last injury replacement, and they usually pull up and fill that void. So that's what I can see happening with that. But because the guards is like so much, it's so flexible. Whereas like, the front court is kind of like it's like a lot in a sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. What you feel, E?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What you feel? Who you think gonna be on the All-Star?
Like I said last time, man. Brunson.
So I had.
Brunson.
Y'all need to stop that.
Brunson ain't.
Y'all need to stop
that. Brunson and Cat.
Y'all need to stop that.
Brunson, Cat, Mikel, OG, Brunson. You
think you're gonna get?
Yeah, them dudes need rest. Yeah, them dudes need rest. All right.
They gonna be sleeping at All-Star break.
Okay.
Ice all over them.
So my All-Star my starting five in the East, I had Giannis, Tatum, Cat, Brunson, and Donovan Mitchell.
That's
in the West. Yeah.
You think they're gonna start?
I know LaMelo and Trae Young did.
LaMelo got the most votes, bro.
In the West, I got Jokic, AD, Vic, SGA, and Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Wemby
is definitely on there. Wemby definitely on
there.
Yeah,
Wemby's definitely gonna be on the team. The only thing is that I just can't see because remember it's in San Francisco, so I can't see Curry not being a starter.
Steph got the most votes in the West for the guards, right?
No, it's Shea. I think Steph is number 2.
Oh yeah.
Steph is gonna make it, but it was looking kind of dim. It was looking kind of dim for Steph because I think last time Steph was like 3rd or something like that. So it was looking like Shea and Luka was gonna leap him.
The God is gonna start, bro. It's in San Francisco. He's the host player. He's the greatest player in Golden State history. They're not gonna not have him on that team. Just even like I've seen, even if to say he don't make it as a starter forever, he's on the team, bro. And whoever the starter might let him start because it's Steph City.
On some Vince Carter, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, like it's Steph City. Like, come on. You don't even want them type of Golden State boos because they boo heavy.
Yeah. Look last year when Damian Lillard won the All-Star MVP in Indiana, they was pissed.
Hell yeah.
And remember when Kobe won the All-Star MVP in Philly?
Oh, they booed him.
That was Fred.
He's from Philly.
Yes, he's from Philly, and we had just beat the 76ers the year prior, that season prior. So it was still some bad blood there. You know what I mean?
Steph gonna start. He's gonna start. He gonna get enough votes because as soon as you think he don't got enough votes, there's a large Asian popularity in San Francisco, and they love him.
Yeah,
they gonna vote heavy. They gonna vote heavy in the clutch. So he gonna get on.
And then on top of that, all those Curry fans that was growing up when like the Warriors was out here running stuff, like they're all older now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like I hope they just take that seriously. Like, yo, because like there was a point in time where like, I wasn't voting for All-Star because I remember, I don't know if y'all remember, but I remember like being younger and going to Foot Locker and actually filling out the ballot. I remember doing that.
Damn,
now bro, like going to Foot Locker and
you showing your
age,
they had
I used to go to MSG and they had the the ballots for All-Star.
Yeah,
You
you have
take
to
an
fill it
All-Star
like a
ballot, you poke them out.
Scantron.
You probably
You have
poke
to,
them out, or you
yeah.
fill it in and then put it right back in the ballot.
Yeah, like I remember that, and then like the only time I consistently like voted for All Star was, of course, to get Kobe in there. Like no matter what, even though I knew Kobe was gonna be in there, I was gonna ride for my dog. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna make sure Kobe was gonna be in there. You know, but
You know,
outside of that, like
I'm gonna show y'all my age. I used to go to the library when I didn't have a computer, and I was a young little boy, and I used to vote on NBA.com at the library. I used to vote Jason Kidd.
that's valid. That's valid,
Jason
man.
Kidd, T-Mac, Shaq. So I never actually filled out a real ballot. I've only done it online.
Yeah, bro. I remember that. It was like a Scantron for me. You had to put your name and all of that stuff and just like bubble in who you wanted. And remember, it was point guard, shooting guard, small forward,
center.
power forward, center. That's the way it was back then.
Yep.
Yes,
Right.
that's crazy, bro.
Now it's front court, back court, and
Yeah, it's all digital and electronic. So it's like, every time they come out with a new week, like this day you get 3 votes and stuff like that. Like I don't really pay attention to it because like we said, the West is kind of like already like not locked, but like Wemby could crack the starting lineup. You know what I'm saying? Or like Shea and Curry, right? And then on the East is kind of like could be a toss up. Like I said, LaMelo being number 1 was with the most votes was for the guards. It was not on my bingo card at all.
If Curry don't start, only people I can see eclipsing him is Ja and Ant-Man. So that's the only ones.
Yeah, especially with Luka being hurt right now.
Right. So, but they're gonna start Steph, man. They're not gonna. I can't see them not doing that in San Francisco. But like he's definitely gonna be on the team at the bare minimum because it's in San Francisco. And then they're gonna put LeBron on there and AD.
Yeah, they gonna be there. It's a must. They're gonna be there.
Like I said, the West is pretty status quo. Even though we should get a Houston Rocket on there, I don't know if we will, but it should.
Who you thinking?
Green.
Who you think?
He been cooking lately.
Yeah,
he been cooking. It's been like I said, it's been some good hoops lately. It's been like it's not been your same old. It's the new upstarts kicking in, and the OGs is actually taking it. They're taking beatings out here, boy. They looking mortal. Out here.
Yo, look at KD and look at Braun, man.
Steph
too.
He
Steph, yeah.
They can't do what they want. They still nice enough if they had the teams around them, but I think the way LeBron plays is gonna make it hard for him to get the team he wants now. The team he needs for him to win. To be fair. Good. Damn. So I got a question. So before we hang up on this, is Philadelphia 76ers not making the playoffs this year, guys?
Oh, they're not making a play-in.
They're not making the play-in. They have.
It's just ugly, man. It's just ugly, man.
That Paul George trade never made sense to me, but I can see that. I mean, we're getting them.
On paper, it looked good because it's like, all right, you get PG. But then when you think of the years and the money, like before the play, before the performance, but before that, you're just like, this actually doesn't make a lot of sense. But maybe they could capitalize maybe in the first 1 or 2 years that he's there. Then he gets on the court, then he gets hurt, and then the production is not there. And it's just like, damn, like forget that, like.
I'm gonna tell you this. So, it was failed from the day that B said he was playing in the Olympics. I'm like, he should have sat down. I don't know why he played. I don't know why he played to this day. Like I know you wanted to go medal, but buddy, that was the day you knew it was gonna fail because you barely could play in the playoffs that year. So why would you not just rest, heal, rehab, come back, and then when the season started, you didn't even play. So it's like,
he's been in and out the lineup so many times, man.
It was doomed since the Olympics, to be fair, and that's why I knew Paul George was not good at decision making. So
and I think that also kind of like dim.
Well, he thought about his pockets. He thought about his pockets. He put that. He got paid. Well, I respect that.
Well, forget Embiid, but I think that also like just kind of dim. Yeah. His chances of making the All-Star team because he was supposed to make the All-Star team this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming off most improved.
But
yeah, absolutely.
But to be fair, I don't think it dimmed his play that much on the strength of what you're saying because he got injured too.
Yeah.
And those guys weren't playing, so that should have gave him more volumes to put more shots up, more points. So it should have made his chances of being an all-star, at least by himself, greater because he could have been putting up bigger numbers without having two stars playing. So I just think the whole team has just been bad lucked. That's really what it is. And it all went downhill from the day Ben Simmons passed up on that layup. So it's been
crazy.
It's been downhill since that day.
Crazy, man. It's domino effect.
And because I feel like they started passing the blame versus that was one of those moments where they were supposed to come together as a team, but they broke apart.
Yeah. And even Doc Rivers in that case, he didn't help it out either.
He didn't help. None of them did. They all now granted, maybe I think everybody in that case was being too sensitive. I think Ben Simmons was being too sensitive. He should have took that criticism as fair criticism because it was in the mix of after the game when they asked Embiid that question. Like they just lost the game.
Yeah.
And
so
same thing.
Tensions are high, everything. Right.
Everything's high. And he's supposed to be able to take that on the chin. At the same time, I think Embiid handled it wrong too. Not necessarily what he said, but just how they played, how they just handled that situation in general. Doc Rivers, all of them handled it well, handled it wrong. And it just like the Philadelphia train has been disarray from that moment on. They just been trying to pass the buck, and then you thought they was going to make it better with the James Harden, and it looked like it, but then Morey, you know what I'm saying? So it's just more issues, and it's just like, and honestly, the biggest issue they should have kept Jimmy Butler too. There's like so many scenarios. How it circles back to Jimmy Butler is crazy, but
pick Tobias Harris over me.
Yeah, I would have kept Jimmy.
Tobias
Harris is nasty.
Over me. Yeah. Hey, well. But Eric, want to close it out?
Yeah, we're gonna close it out for this episode of the Swoop Shoes podcast. I just want to thank everyone who tuned in. We'll be back next week with our full squad, episode number 83. Hopefully we get an answer or something for the whole Jimmy Butler saga. And hopefully we get more trades because we're coming close to Super Bowl Sunday, which means that's the week after that trade deadline, then All-Star break, and then the stretch runs for the playoffs begin. So keep it locked in. Like, subscribe to our channel, Swoop Shoops, on Facebook, Twitter,
Instagram, YouTube,
and
on YouTube. So
rest in peace, TikTok. Follow us on Lemon 8, man. Follow us on Lemon 8, man.
Yeah,
TikTok,
Lemon 8. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah, all
of that.
TikTok,
so
man.
Definitely.
Also capture the flag, Brooklyn Nets. Capture the flag.
I think it's too late for that. I think they're too
late
for that.
Bro. We bad, man. We stink. We've been losing like left to right.
Nah, not like Utah. Not like Washington.
Yeah.
We don't have. You don't have to have the worst record to get the number one pick, by the way, guys. You just have to have a bad. You just have to be a top bad team, and we one of the top bad teams.
You just don't want to make the playoffs. Just don't make the playoffs. Don't win your playing games. Just don't win your playing games, and then look at the Hawks.
You see, they keep saying Cam Johnson every other game. They're like, nah, he hurt. He ain't hurt. Cam Thomas last game, he killed it. He was all of a sudden injured. Like, what happened? They making him imaginary. They're making him imaginary injuries.
You too good, bro. You too good.
They making him imaginary injuries over there. So we captured the flag, Brooklyn.
I'll have a strain oblique or something like that, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all be good. Y'all have a good night.
God bless.
Yeah, peace and love, man.
Enjoy, y'all.
Yeah.